The results didn't go the way the other boys wanted, so it's right back to the Red Mike Fan TV. Welcome to the show. We've got a new person who's come today, but we'll start with Sean. Sean, who's this new person? How are you?
Well, Kel, I'm good. Thank you for putting that second. This obviously shows you what you care about the most. But this is a man who we thought we'd get on the show. We like diversity here, and certainly a minority in terms of football fans in Perth.
And inclusion as well.
Yeah, he's a Roma fan, and as such, probably someone that's been hurt the most by Liverpool in recent years. If we think back to that Champions League run with the semi-final, but I will let him.
What about when we took their best striker?
Well, exactly. Well, then
their best goalkeeper as well.
Yeah. So I was going to go into that, but I was going to let him tell the story. He's gone by many names in his video gaming career. There's been Aerial Tortoise, Hosepipe, but his real name is Benson Allen. Benson, welcome to the show. And I thought you could start by telling us about those fateful weeks when Liverpool really tell the people what happened.
Tell us the story.
So it's going back to 2018 Champions League, I think. Roma for the first time since 1984 got to the Champions League semi-final. In 1984, they actually made the final, which was against Liverpool. And it just happened that their semi-final run was against Liverpool. So being, a Roma fan and seeing this history being made, I had to fly to Italy.
Bought tickets to Rome.
Bought scalpers tickets to the game, which cost me almost $1,000. But you got to do it. Like, it's a once in a lifetime thing.
And so that was for the second leg?
Yeah.
And you were on the plane?
I was on the plane for the first leg.
And so tell us, when did you find out the score and what was going on?
So I got on the plane and they advertise that they've got live sport on these flights. And I'm excited, I get to watch the game and we take off. I try and find the live sport, there's nothing there. We've got Wi-Fi, which is maybe 1 megabit per second. So you can refresh the page and just watch the scores. And I'm sitting next to a Liverpool fan.
2-0?
Yeah.
3-0?
Yeah. So I'm sitting next to this Liverpool fan and we're just talking about the game. The game starts.
Was he going for the game as well?
No, he was going to a wedding in France. Okay. So yeah.
Priorities.
Exactly. Why are you going to a wedding? Why are you going all the way to Europe?
Champions League semi-final.
All the way to Europe, you're not even going to watch the Champions League semi-final. But anyway, we're watching the scores go up, and 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. And I'm just ready to turn the plane around and just go back home.
Did you have authority to do that?
No, I'm not actually a pilot, so I can't really turn the flight around.
You weren't flying the plane.
Yeah, I wasn't flying the plane.
But you got a bit of hope at the end.
Yeah, so
a couple of late goals.
Towards the end, we got the 2 late goals. And obviously the week before was that historic win against Barcelona where we came back.
Manolas!
3 goals, 82nd minute, Manolas. That was history in the making right there. So obviously being 3 goals down and having the second leg at home gave me a bit of hope. So get to Italy, you want to watch the game anyway. So got to the game.
When that's literally the
reason. Yeah, that's the only reason I flew there. Wasn't going to turn down that opportunity. Just did not go our way. Ended up winning 4-2, so it was 6-7 on aggregate. It was pretty close.
All the Liverpool fans watching will know exactly how the game went. We had the late goal and all the drama.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk too much about the Italian league because obviously it's a Liverpool fan podcast primarily with a spattering of those other Premier League clubs, all of whom decided not to come after the Arsenal result, after the Chelsea Man United game. So
that's not actually what happened. We'll keep telling ourselves that.
But before we get onto the Premier League, let's tell us a story. Why you're a Roma fan? And dive in.
Growing up, I was always a AFL fan. Never really got into the soccer. I always kind of thought it was a pretty boring sport until I started watching it. And because I'd gone all these years without watching it, I never really had a team. So, I started playing FIFA, getting into it a bit more. And as anyone watching this will know, FIFA's got Ultimate Team where you can open packs and
it's ruined many lives.
Yeah, get random players out of these packs.
Who did you get?
Got Francesco
Who do you
Totti
think?
in my first ever pack.
First pack, back when he was the King of Kings.
Yeah, King of Rome.
I mean, he still is, really.
Yeah, he's still the King of Rome. No one's going to take that crown from him.
Yeah.
Not the Canyon? I'm glad you're he almost pledged to be there.
And so, quick recap as well of the season, how things are going for Rome at the moment.
So pretty shaky start. It started with a 0-0 draw with Verona.
I looked at the scores before. They said 3-0.
I was getting to that. due to an administrative error, we had to forfeit the game 3-0. One of our players was not registered to play yet, and he played 89 minutes of the game.
Can you imagine if you miss out on the Champions League by a point?
Yeah.
And that will be a £50 million administrative error.
Yeah, someone's getting fired over that.
Yeah. But anyway, Kel, I'll throw it to you.
So-
Let's wrap up the Premier League this weekend.
Liverpool won.
We're champions-elect again, finally.
Liverpool won. Everton lost, and the Everton players failed the Colicchio Sunwell. You're in my fantasy team test. Put them in the fantasy team. Arsenal couldn't get points off Leicester.
Yeah,
To
that
help
was
us out.
that was the one disappointing game for Liverpool. We really want we want the competitors losing points, and Leicester picking up that win, I think, hurts us a bit. It would have been great if Arsenal could have taken some
Chelsea
points off.
and Manchester United had the boringest game of football I have ever seen.
So we just watched-
since Jose Mourinho.
We watched the the 3-minute highlights.
How
And
did they manage to get 3 minutes out of that?
I'll tell you how. In the at about the half an hour mark, so the highlights started at half an hour. They Chelsea had a free kick on the left hand side. They showed about 30 seconds of them setting up for this free kick, and then the free kick was just curled onto the chest of De Gea, and that's almost
That was a
that's
good 45
almost a
seconds.
third of the highlights gone just from that. And then a couple of Mendy saves, and that was it.
Yeah.
You watched the game.
I did. I watched the game live because I was studying for my economics. I was doing the reference checks while I was watching that game.
I can't think of anything worse than watching that game and doing economics study. So like, you must have had a good sleep that night.
I had a good sleep.
Yeah.
I had a great sleep. And then, Man City didn't get the result. Everton lost. Who else didn't get a result for that we needed, that were challenging? Aston Villa
Yes, yeah, well that was the one. Yeah.
showed who they thought they were.
Yeah.
And I was just watching it going, can we get a result here? Can we get a result here? And the Reds, they go and do it.
So this
They
is
get 3 points the hard way.
so this is my thing at the moment that I'm thinking is going to. I've said on this show numerous times, the last couple of times I've been on, this season is going to be like no other. There is no team's going to come near to 90 points. There are going to be points dropped left, right, and centre. There's going to be, and I think this is something people have forgotten about the Premier League and about football, is that almost every year there's one or two teams in the first 6 or 7 games are up there. Burnley have done it before.
Wigan.
Wigan have done it.
Blackpool.
West Brom have done it. Even real garbage teams like Tottenham have done it. There's always one or two teams up there. And people have forgotten about that because the last 3 years, City and Liverpool have just like... They've made people think like you can't lose a game and win the league. And now we're back to... I don't want to say normality because it's probably the most abnormal season. But in terms of football, it's really hard to pick up... To just win game after game after game.
100%. And you'll remember that Ferguson used to say it's squeaky bum time and it doesn't happen until like January. It doesn't happen until start the new year, then you need to start winning. But if you're there or thereabouts by December, then you're going to be in with a chance to win the league. So the fact that it's now got to that point, and especially for the top 4 teams, the teams who are playing in Europe who've got Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, or Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, and you've got to do that while the rest of the league doesn't, until they catch up with you, until the bottom half of the league and the Premier League are now going every game every 3 days. The bottom half of the teams have a really good opportunity and they can spend a week trying to work out these games for people. And I feel for Everton because they've got that advantage right now and they should be taking care of that advantage because very soon it's going to be a game every 3 days and that's when the big 4 teams get their advantage back as well.
So, let's go game by game. Let's start with that Everton game because it's been a crazy weekend and big results. I need to pull you up, Kel. Last time I watched this show when I wasn't here, you let a blue shirt sit next to you and tell you that he thought Everton were going to dominate the midfield against us.
Yes.
Against Thiago, Henderson and Fabinho.
Yeah.
What made you let that slide?
My friend, you were playing the short game. I am playing the long game.
Yeah.
And so I can always come back and be like, remember when you said this? And I just said, yep, I was giving him rope.
Okay.
I don't have to call everybody out right then and there. Give the person rope.
Yeah.
Just like I've given myself rope about Vardy and Aubameyang. I've got plenty of rope right now.
So if you miss it, Brendan, well, let's throw the question to you. If you were to take a
Brendan.
player for Roma, let's say your team, You can take Vardy or Aubameyang.
Yeah.
Now is your strike. Obviously, you still got Edin Dzeko.
Yeah, still got
doing the
Dzeko.
thing.
He's still...
Edin Dzeko goes down, ACL, 8 months.
Yeah.
Do you take Vardy or do you take Aubameyang?
I'll probably take Aubameyang.
Hey, there you go, Kel.
It's 3-2. It's 3-2.
I think it depends on the system and the style. I think
Yeah.
they're both very good strikers.
I
Aubameyang's
don't
gone
think-
through a quiet patch, but
Yeah, I don't think that Vardy would suit our kind of play.
I think that
because he's not. I mean, not really. Aubameyang's not really similar to Dzeko in any way.
But
more the size and the
way
height.
that I pose it is, you've got a perfect team and a perfect formation and anything you want, and you've got 90 million, and you can either buy Vardy or Aubameyang. So
yeah, and this is why it's a question that it depends on what team they're fitting in. They're both fantastic strikers.
Yeah, of course.
We've already done this question though, so let's skip on to that Everton-Leicester game. It was one of your old friends. What's his name?
Cengiz Under.
Azunda used to play. Unda.
Yeah.
Used to play for Roma and put the cross in for
Yeah.
Jamie Vardy at the end of that game. Did you watch that one, Kel?
no, I haven't seen the Arsenal Leicester game.
So it was. It wasn't boring. It was a lot of just chaos in midfield, and just neither team could really get a hold of it. But I think that's Brendan Rodgers' game plan for Leicester. It's just like
Because they're decimated right now.
yeah, right. But he's gone. We sit back. It's always been the Leicester way, basically, for the last sort of 5 to 6 years since they won the Premier League and before that. But they were we're going to be disruptive. We're going to just be all action. As soon as you cross over our half, you're not going to have time for a touch. And they were rattled. And basically, it was the classic Leicester counter attack. Assist from your boy, header from our man Jamie Vardy. And they just never looked like it, and it was a classic Arsenal of the last 2 or 3 seasons.
I saw a tweet really quickly that Arteta is the Sam Allardyce, but he has a turtleneck. So, what do we think of this right
So
now?
he's like the Aladici.
He's Allardyce.
Yeah.
He's Mikel Allardyce.
Yeah, I think Arteta, there's every chance he'll be a fantastic manager, and I think he needs that time, as we talked about a few weeks ago on this show. Whether or not he gets that time with the Arsenal fan TV sort of culture around the club at the moment and the sort of hysteria when a few results don't go your way, we still have to wait and see. But it was a pretty poor performance from them. But we've all had them, and this is what I was going to say before. The main difference and the reason that I'm feeling buoyed at the moment is I think Liverpool in the Premier League are the team that have shown they can play poorly, they can go behind, and they will get results. They've done that over the last 2 or 3 years.
And they can also play poorly, go behind, and lose 7-2.
Yeah, you always have a couple of those, and that's
You always have
well, you don't have a couple. You always have a result or two where you just don't turn up and everything goes against you. Very rarely does it go 7-2, and yeah, that's very disappointing. But more just that ability to, you think Aston Villa last season with the last minute Mane header, you just so many games where, all right, we're not at our best. Even this season, you think of Leeds in the opening day, they score 3 goals. We just do enough to get the result. I'm not sure whether any of the challengers, obviously primarily Manchester City, do they still have that mentality? I don't know.
You could even argue they almost got the result in the Everton game. I mean, with the sleeve of Mane being called offside.
Well, we're going to deliberately not go into too much VAR talk because we've still... We don't want to get too much into the VAR back onto that derby game, but because we do have a little bit to talk about in that Everton-Manchester United game. TG, you want to talk about Lampard-Solskjaer?
Yes.
Can we first talk about Harry Maguire? He's having a tough time.
He's having a tough time.
Just wants some love.
Yes.
So he's given a passionate embrace.
It looked like a really warm embrace.
Are you just allowed to do that now?
Fred?
I don't think so.
This is where the whole VAR thing staggers me. I'm so happy if they decide that
I just want to know what's going on. And it's like the replay happens and he's like, don't show the replay. Don't show the replay. Oh, show the replay. Now I've got to go back. Like, what? How do you miss it?
Yeah. I mean, it's in the box, like, on the ball, and he's just got his arms around his neck. Like, it's the most blatant foul I've seen so far this season. And
is that even more blatant than Jordan Pickford's?
Oh,
Let's not go back there.
Not
We've
go
all
there.
been through it. Talk about Lampard, Solskjaer,
Stick to
counts.
sports. I find it really hilarious because they go from like one extreme to the next, right? So Chelsea have gone from like 3-3, 3-3, 3-3 to be like shut up shop. And since it decided to shut up shop, they haven't had an expected goal in their last 2 games. And so we're now going, all right, are you just hot and cold? Do you not know how to do a defence? Do you not know how to do a midfield?
Like the big difference is now they have a goalkeeper.
Well, they have a goal. Well, yes. So without Mendy, what happens? You know what I mean? And then you look at Solskjaer, and unless a team is going to actually attack you and leave massive gaps for you to counter-attack, can you break a team down? Can you legitimately break a team down? I look at them and I'm just like, why does no one just decide, look, sod this, let's sack these guys and just get Pochettino? That's my question. Why does no one just go, let's just bite the bullet and get Pochettino?
I can't answer it. He's
Is
there,
it,
right?
is it too smart a move? Like,
I don't know whether it's just a loyalty thing. It doesn't feel like there's not that much loyalty in
from
football.
Chelsea.
Abramovich's Chelsea.
From
Yeah.
Abramovich's Chelsea.
From
Woodward's Manchester United.
I don't
That's my
know.
only question.
I don't know. It feels like, again, maybe Frank Lampard goes on to be an excellent manager. Maybe Solskjaer goes on to be a competent manager, but neither of them are top level right now, which is what has got basically Liverpool and Manchester City have gone, we need to push on, we need to get the next level. They've got Pep Guardiola, they've got Jurgen Klopp. But
Okay, well, question here to both of you. So, follow NFL, and the crazy thing about NFL is your window was very, very short. So are the managers or the owners of these 2 teams going, our window's not right now, so we don't care who's doing the job. We will try to get some players in. But in football, your window can be long. Your window can be 6 years. Your window can be 4 years. And if you're going and getting these players in, you're basically wasting their time. You're wasting Pulisic's time right now. Unless you're saying, look, he's going to be even better in 4 years' time, which he probably will be. But you can still win right now. And if you're basically going, I'm going to forfeit it, just stay top 4, wait until Klopp goes away, wait until Guardiola goes away. Like, what's the point in that?
well, the ultimate stay top 4 team in the last decade or 2 has been Arsenal,
Yes.
right? They have been the ultimate get the top 4.
We'll
That's
get a
what I
window
mean.
later. We'll
Keep
just
it
keep
ticking
pushing our
over, keep
window.
it ticking over, keep it ticking over. And now they're in a similar position really with Arteta. And it's all these managers of these top teams that are inexperienced, that don't fully have all the ins and outs of the job, that aren't at that top level yet. And you see that week in, week out with their performances. Sometimes they are on, and sometimes that's those Manchester United players, they have absolute talent in there. Chelsea have the same. You've got, like you're saying, your Pulisic. Marcus Rashford is on another level right now.
Good human being as well.
Yes, we all need to say that. Wonderful man. But they're not being led by someone that you feel like could take them to the... So I guess I'll throw a question back to you. If Jurgen Klopp went to Chelsea, how much does that improve them? If Jurgen Klopp goes to Manchester United...
Exponentially. I don't think you can put a number on it, because from top to bottom, the culture changes, the idea changes, the we're here for victory changes, the mentality of, like he said for our 7-2 loss, right? He said the problem wasn't that we lost 7-2, the problem was after we lost the first goal, our heads went down, we didn't react. Mistakes happen, let's react. If you have that person who installs that culture that things happen, you're not going to have the perfect day, but let's keep pushing forward, that changes everything. And maybe those managers are absolutely doing that, but at the same time, like the way that they cater to players, like you hear about Anton Rudiger, who the Chelsea board love him, Chelsea fans love him, players love him, Lampard doesn't fancy him. And it's not a case of he's my best player and I don't like him, or it's not a good player that I don't like. Klopp wanted Sacco, he just said, mate, just don't be a dick. That was it. So he's gone in and he says, I'm here for you, I'll back you. But if you're going in there and saying, I don't want him, ostracize it, like Azpilicueta Aretha Balaga, they've got Peter Cech listed as a goalkeeper right now. How does that work?
Arsenal can't fit Mesut Ozil into their
Arsenal
squad.
can't fit Mesut Ozil into their squad.
We take him at Roma?
Yeah.
Mesut Ozil?
Probably not. I don't think that he'd fit with our squad either.
But look, with the last
player.
with the last 5 minutes that we've got, can we talk anything about Manchester City's performance? Did you notice anything from that game? Any observations?
Well, my observation. So as Neil, the resident Manchester City fan, was saying that they really need some defence. They need to bolster that defence, and I think that's partially true. I think Diaz for the goal could have employed the Harry Maguire technique. And I don't know why he didn't just wrap Antonio up and just give him a big bear hug and sling him to the ground, because apparently that's okay. I think it's more than that. I just think that intensity and like I don't know, like I was saying before, I don't think our intensity was there against Sheffield United, but we dug it out, we got the result. Part of the reason I'm wearing the Poland shirt tonight, which you haven't asked me about yet, either of you, is for Łukasz Fabianski's fantastic performance for West Ham. Łukasz Fabianski. He, a couple of big saves at the end, particularly Raheem Sterling with some of those heavy touches we used to know and love. But they just don't seem to have that cutting edge right now, and we don't either. But we're just digging it out and getting more results than they are.
Do you think some of that has got to do with no fans in the stadium, or because the whole atmosphere changes? Yeah, it's a totally different game. Yeah. So I don't know whether some teams are better than others. I think I've always held the view since the start of this lockdown and the empty stadiums that no fans basically means there's no such thing as a home field advantage. Yeah, there's basically no one influencing the referees.
Or in some teams' cases, and I'll say this until I die, in Everton's case, it's an advantage not having your fans there because their fans are nut jobs. And again, the vast majority of football fans are nut jobs. But when you're badgering your coach because he has red on his Christmas tree,
you never leave this Christmas tree thing
nut
go.
Nut job.
You never let it go.
Nut jobs.
It is a bit nuts, but
it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it really is there for anyone. Yeah. And I think that just kind of suits us. I think that we deserve to be favourites still, despite the rocky-ish start. But it's going to be a long, weird season.
If the season even goes ahead with the cases continuing to climb.
Are the cases climbing again?
Yeah. Well, thankfully we don't have any American teams in the Premier League because it would be tough to get through without them all having coronavirus. But I have a cache on my phone, so when you go to a website, if you can't connect to the internet, it goes to your last downloaded cache, and it has Atletico Madrid have 2 players test positive for coronavirus. It was before their quarter-final or something last year. And so every time I load the phone and it drops out the internet, that page pops up and I go, oh, no, you've done me again. But it's going to be funny whether or not we get there. I hope we do, because, we all just want to watch football. It's even without fans. Yeah. Just having something to look forward to on the weekends. I know it makes my life sound really sad, but it is, something we all love and look forward to. So hopefully we do get there.
Would be good. Even if they have to do an AFL style kind of quarantine bubble where all the teams are just in their own little bubbles, they don't really travel outside of that. So, that could be an option, but hopefully it doesn't come to that.
The Premier League have a lot of money, and they're like, listen, you're going to play. Even if it's your reserves.
They have a lot of money, Kel, but they want more. Sorry, they have a lot of money, TG, but they want more. They want this pay-per-view. Could you quick talk about that? It seems like a pretty disgraceful cash grab when everyone's suffering and out of work, and £15 to watch Liverpool Sheffield United.
So the human being in me says that's disgraceful. The economist in me says, what do you want him to do?
Well, I don't think they've made... they've already said BT Sports and whoever else in Sky, I think, have come out and said they want to stop it because their reputation is being shredded.
It's the Premier League
literally everyone, Harvey Elliott put a post up on Instagram with a screenshot of the Liverpool game, and Harvey Elliott was fantastic, by the way, in the Championship over the weekend. That's something to look forward to for all of us Reds, but he posted a screenshot of the game saying, come on you Reds, and up in the corner was the watermark of the whatever site he was streaming it illegally from. So there's been a massive backlash, and no one's paying for it.
But look, the good thing that's come out of it is there's been so much donations going to food banks because people have decided not to put that money towards BT. But I say this from the point of view of just, I don't think it's right. But from a Premier League club point of view, they're going, we are not getting the 1 million a month that we should be a week from tickets that come in. We need to make sure we keep the lights on, etc., etc.,
etc. So take it from the struggling fans.
That's how this works.
Yeah, you're worse since you've been studying economics. You're a worse human being.
All I'm saying is it comes from consumerism. So if no one consumes, nothing happens.
Well, that's what's happening. That's what's
the
happening.
problem.
No one's consuming.
No one's
it,
consuming.
But surely studying economics, you've got like all about elasticity.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that if I remember correctly, ticket price or like pay-per-view prices would
The
be
elasticity
fairly,
of demand would probably be around $7.50.
Yeah.
So it's up right now.
Yeah.
But
so
now
you
they
can't
can come
drop
in.
it.
They can come in and be like, all right, we've cut it down to 7.5.
We can do you
well
a solid,
done.
yeah.
We'll do you a solid. They probably were looking at 7.5 from the start.
Well, then I think their 7.5 is going to be going to the food banks. I think people are so put out of joint by this. And if you've seen the comparison between how much it costs to watch every Premier League game living in the UK
Oh, it's terrible.
to how much it costs in Australia,
It's
a few
terrible.
$100 compared to thousands and thousands of
honestly, it is the idea. When I lived in the UK, it'd be 3 o'clock. There'd be all this games going on. You'd be like, I can't watch this. Why? Why can't I watch? Well, we need you to go out into the stadium so you can support. Look, I understand that, but I can't watch this.
all
Why?
the sold out stadiums that you can't buy tickets
and
to
then you
anyway.
just go to you'd go to the shisha spot, and it'd be all these streamed games from beIN Sport and anything like that. So they'd still watch it there, but you just couldn't go to your local pub and watch it. But yeah, it's ridiculous, and we back the fans, we back the people, we back the supporters, and we hope the businesses do better by them, because people have long memories, and once this is all said and done, they're going to be able to be like, you made me pay £15 to watch. What was the game last week that was like the worst, boring? It was going to be a 0-0 draw until like it was Aston Villa, I think, and they scored that last minute goal. But imagine paying £15.
Was that $22.30 or something?
Yeah, around about that. I mean, imagine paying £15 to watch Man United Chelsea.
Yeah, and that's one of the headline games.
All right.
Anyway,
what you're not paying £15 to do is to watch